Good morning, it's Cathy Mellet coming to you from I'm Enough. Today I have Caroline Welkin with me. Welcome to the I'm Enough podcast this morning, Caroline.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Now, you and I had a discussion a few days back, and we thought that there'd be an opportunity for you to come onto a podcast and share some of those life skills that you've learned along your life journey. I'm going to hand this over to you, Caroline, for you to actually share with us what you've learned, both from a life skill lesson and a general lessons learned.
Okay. Well, what we ended up talking about was my dark and miserable teens, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And how that had led me to a lifetime of learning some totally amazing skills, which has become a lifelong passion. As a teen, I was miserable. In fact, I'd go so far as to say I actually didn't know what happy was until quite some years later, possibly even my 30s. And I now understand that. I'm not going to go into that in great depth. There's things about vagus nerves and how the brain develops, all sorts of things. But what I am going to share is I now completely understand the brain is what they call plastic. You can reshape it. You can learn how to control your emotions. You can do all sorts of fantastic things and change that mindset. So when I was 17, I left home and I used to spend hours sobbing in my little bedsit thinking, I don't even know what I was thinking. I was sobbing mainly. And I knew there had to be something different I could do, something different. And I had at the time, I was going to try and find this book, a book about how to live to be 100 and be happy. And in that book, I was introduced to the idea of autohypnosis, which is now almost a global idea as I think about it. Autohypnosis is the idea that you can hypnotize yourself to feel the way you want to. Mm-hmm. And that is the basis, the beginning of starting to retrain your mind. And so I started with auto-hypnosis. I've gone on to learn neuro-linguistic practitioner work, kinesiology, all sorts of things. But I come down to some three basic things that I'm going to share with you in a bit that will change your mood in a moment. The trick is not to accept your mood. The trick is to say, hey, I'm feeling miserable. Why am I feeling miserable? What can I change in this instant to change how I'm feeling? Or I'm going into a job interview. Oh, I feel nervous. How do I stop from feeling nervous? How can I feel something different in this moment? So the three techniques that I've got are things to use in those kinds of moments. You can get into the bigger things like self-hypnotizing or affirmations or any of those wonderful things that are available these days. Tapping, that's another great one for longer, more lasting change. But the key is train your mind like you would train your body if you're an athlete. You can build resilience and you can build being happier, healthier in your thoughts and mind.
Absolutely. And if you'd had these skills at the beginning of your teens, imagine how different those early parts of your life would have been.
Oh, I look forward to one day they're going to teach this stuff at primary school. We shouldn't have to wait until we've left school to learn this stuff because it's basic management of ourselves. They teach us how to run and jump and climb. Why don't they teach us, oh, you're feeling a bit sad. How can you help make yourself feel better?
So what would your tips be?
Well, one is tremendously simple. I got it off a lady on the internet and she learned it from someone called Donna Eden. It's this simple. You get your fingers, you might want to do it with me, Cathy, and you tap around your right ear.
Oh, wrong ear, sorry.
It's got to be the right ear. I should have done it in reverse for you, hey? And you say, as you do this, what you want to feel. So let's say it's that job interview, you're feeling anxious. You tap around the right ear and you say, I feel calm and confident.
I am calm and confident.
Or you're feeling upset about something. Instead of saying, I'm upset to yourself over and over, you tap around the right ear and you say, I feel increasingly calm. I know what to do. Anything you think is going to be a good message, and it activates the right part of your brain to start thinking those thoughts and move forwards. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like another?
Yes, please.
All righty. Now, what happens when we get in a state sometimes is just
Caroline, just as we go back to that, that's not something you even have to do in public. So you could be in, you could become anxious in a moment, take yourself off to the toilet and just be, so that's perfect for that. Perfect.
Absolutely. And I think she recommended doing it for about a minute. I used to do it, for instance, when I was traveling in to see somebody in the car or the train. Yeah.
Point number two.
Point number two. So what happens when we get in an anxious or an upset state is basically one side of the brain shuts down. You stop being resourceful or thinking of other ways of doing things, or even how you see things going on around you. And basically what you need to do is get both sides of the brain working together again. So you just hold here, and you can also hold at the back of the head here. It actually just feels really calming. And again, just hold on for about a minute, and it literally starts the other side of the brain up, and you will find yourself calming right down. I have heard marvelous stories about this method. I heard about someone who met someone in a severe asthma attack, and they were on a bushwalk, and she sat and did this with them. Their system calmed down, they started breathing more normally, and were able to carry on the bushwalk. Wow. So certainly this is great for when you're feeling anxious or you need to think about things in a new way, and you'll find you just start thinking more resourcefully than you were. So when one side of the brain is working, it's like it's shut down. Oh, one thought. You do this and you're like, oh, actually I can see some other things now. Okay. Get some different perspectives. Number three, look, so basic, breathing. I know we do forget. And the reason is we breathe shallowly a lot of the time. We breathe what they call up here, upper costal. That's it, especially when you get in a panic, right? Or you're anxious, or you're about to do something you're nervous about.
Or you hold your breath.
That's right. Oh, something cool's going to happen. All you got to do then is breathe in, and I'm going to count, and you can do this too with me, Cathy. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold, if you can, for 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And out. 2, 3, 4. And you're breathing way down into your belly. Now, if you don't normally breathe like this at all, you may feel dizzy. That's a good thing. I'm not suggesting you do it at the top of a mountain and get yourself dizzy, but sit in a chair, do it maybe 4 times. If you feel that dizzy thing, it means you didn't have enough oxygen in your system. And once you get oxygen into the brain, again, it starts working more efficiently, and the whole person will calm down.
Awesome. I think I want to say thank you to you, because those 3 tips, whilst they're similar, they can be used in different circumstances, and the intent of I'm Enough is to provide different coping strategies to people, because some will resonate with them and some won't. And I think what you've shared is another 3 tips in that toolbox that they certainly can use. In closing, from a life perspective, Caroline, what was sorry, Caroline, I keep on doing that.
Caroline.
Did I get it right? Caroline.
You did.
And then I altered it. What would be your overriding tip to somebody who's young and not feeling the happiest? The one thing you would give them looking towards their life ahead?
I still don't know where I learnt this phrase, but I remember being in a terrible state in the middle of a statistics exam, which, to give you a perspective, took statistics 3 times and failed it abysmally each time. And the thing that got me through was saying to myself, this too will pass. This too will pass, knowing there's going to be another experience in a while. And I think I probably live my life by that. I always like to plan in my calendar, even if it's a day trip or going to the cinema. I like to see that ahead, so I know whatever comes today, I've got that to look forward to.
Awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time out to speak to us today. It's always a pleasure chatting to you, and I know every time I've spoken to you, I've learned so much. So thank you very much. And on behalf of the I'm Enough team, thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge with us.
Thank you. Go well, everyone.